Good evening. This is the meeting of the Municipal Land Use Board for the Borough of River Edge. It's Wednesday, May 27th, 2026. The time now is 7:35 p.m. I'm going to ask the Board Council to read the Open Meetings Act notice.
This meeting of the Municipal Land Use Board of the Borough of River Edge is being held both in person and remotely via Zoom in compliance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act and associated regulations. Notice of this hybrid meeting was published in the Bergen Record, posted at Borough Hall, and posted on the borough's website. The notice included the dial and login information necessary for public participation and access to this meeting remotely. A copy of the agenda for this meeting was made available on the borough's website near the posting of the meeting notice and included the dial and login information. Please silence all cell phones during the public comment period of this meeting. If you'd like to make a public comment, you may step up to the microphone and wait to be recognized by the chairperson. Press the raise hand button on Zoom or dial *9 on your telephone keypad to raise your hand. You may mute and unmute yourself by pressing the microphone icon on Zoom or dialing *6 on your telephone keypad. You must state your name and address prior to making a public comment.
Okay, thank you very much. At this time, I'd ask everyone to please stand to salute the flag. Mr. Salvo, would you kindly lead us?
Sure.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, would we call the roll, please?
Yes, thank you. Mr. Mayor?
Here.
Mr. Caslin?
Here.
Mr. Cray?
Here.
Ms. Boland?
Here.
Mr. Gibbons?
Here.
Mr. Kanigo is excused. Mr. Salva?
Here.
Mr. Gautier?
Here.
Councilman Glass?
Here.
Ms. Levine?
Here.
Also present, we have on Zoom our zoning officer, Mr. Depkin, in person, our board engineer, Mr. Costa, and our recording secretary is on Zoom, Lisa.
Okay, thank you. We're going to move along in our agenda. We have no minutes for our May 13th meeting at this time, so we're going to proceed into completeness review. The memorialization for Del Sandro is also not available at this time. So our first item under completeness review this evening, the applicant is Jay Malky. The property is 473 Windsor Road, Block 814, Lot 10. Application seeking approval for additions and alterations to the residence. Ms. Brown.
Yes, thank you. Prior to this meeting, I reviewed the proofs submitted by the applicant and found them to be sufficient for the board to have jurisdiction over the application tonight.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Depkin.
Yes, good evening. I would consider the application complete to be heard.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Costa.
Mr. Chairman, ditto on all the above, yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. Questions from the board as to completeness? Okay, there being none, I will look for a motion to deem the application complete.
So moved.
First, Mr. Gibbons, or a second? Have a second, Mr. Cray?
All right, Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Caslin,
Yes.
Mr. Cray,
Yes.
Ms. Boland,
Yes.
Mr. Gibbons,
Yes.
Mr. Salva,
Yes.
Mr. Gautier,
Yes.
Councilman Glass,
Yes.
Ms. Levine.
Yes.
All right, the motion passes.
Okay, thank you very much. Our next item under completeness review, the applicant is Christina Costanzo. Property is 320 Lexington Drive, Block 1106, Lot 26. Application seeking approval for additions and site improvements to the single-family residence. Ms. Brown.
Yes, thank you. Prior to to this meeting, I reviewed the proofs submitted by the applicant and found them to be sufficient for the board to hear the application tonight.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Depkin.
Yes, I would consider the application complete to be heard.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Costa.
Chairman, same ditto. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Questions or comments from the board on completeness of this application? There being none, I'll look for a motion to deem the application complete.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Gibbons. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Salva.
All right, Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Caslin,
Yes.
Mr. Cray,
Yes.
Ms. Boland,
Yes.
Mr. Gibbons,
Yes.
Mr. Salva,
Yes.
Mr. Gautier,
Yes.
Councilman Glass,
Yes.
and Ms. Levine.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Our final item in the completeness review this evening, the applicant is Sweet Spot River Edge LLC. Property is 75 Route 4 East, Block 1415, Lot 1.01. Application seeking a variance for signage and along main and secondary access points. Ms. Brown?
So at this time, I haven't reviewed the proofs for the public hearing because the public hearing will be scheduled at a later date. I believe the applicant did submit the proofs for the June 10th meeting, but those are yet to be reviewed.
Okay, thank you.
And they are not reflective of completeness of the application.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Depkin?
Yes, I also would consider this application complete to be heard.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Costa?
Same, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Questions from the board regarding completeness of this application? There being none, I'll look for a motion to deem the application complete.
So move.
Thank you, Ms. Codier. Is there a second?
Second?
Thank you, Ms. Boland.
All right, Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Caslin,
Yes.
Mr. Cray,
Yes.
Ms. Boland.
Yes.
Mr. Gibbons,
Yes.
Mr. Salva,
Yes.
Mr. Gautier,
Yes.
Councilman Glass,
Yes.
Ms. Levine.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we're going to move under the new business section of our agenda this evening. The first item is for Jay Malky. Property is 473 Windsor Road, Block 814, Lot 10. Application seeking approval for additions and alterations to a single-family home. I believe the applicant is with us this evening. Good evening, as well as the applicant's professional.
I can swear the applicant's in. If you just turn that microphone on, you just have to press the button. So it's green. There we go.
And you can sit too.
If you please raise your right hands, do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And then please state your name and provide your address for the record.
James Malky, Malki, 473 Windsor Road, River Edge, New Jersey.
Charlene Malky, Malki, 473 Windsor Road, River Edge, New Jersey.
Thank you. And Mr. Bruno, when you're ready, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. And just remind the board that your license is still current and in good standing since last 2 weeks ago.
It's been a while, Mr. Bruno. Welcome back.
I missed you.
We appreciate that. Floor is yours, sir.
And this is sort of like handing out to the board some photographs that I took. Easily taken by myself yesterday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And if you could just share that microphone and we'll mark this as exhibit A1. A photo exhibit prepared by Mr. Bruno consisting of 7 photo sheets and a cover sheet.
Yes. And I took those yesterday.
Okay.
May I proceed? Yep. To give the board just a little bit of context here. Photograph number 1 is the east or front elevation of the subject residence. Photograph number 2 is the east or front elevation view of the residence to the south of the subject. So if you're standing in the street looking at the resident, the subject house, it's the house to the left. Photograph number 3 is the east or the front elevation view of the residence to the north or to the right of the subject. Photograph number 4 is the west or front elevation view of the residence across the street. Photograph number 5 is the west or front elevation of the residence to the east of that one. No, to the south of that one across from the subject property. Photograph number 6 is the west or rear elevation view of the subject residence. And photograph number 7 is the east or rear elevation view of the residence to the behind the residence or to the I believe to the west. So I was standing in the backyard near the fence at the rear of the property looking towards the that house. The proposal is to, I'll just bring the easel here a little bit so I'm closer to the microphone. It's a typical River Edge colonial, 2 stories. And the proposal is to expand the home to the rear and to the left side as you're looking at the house from the street to increase the first floor living space and the kitchen, creating a mudroom and a lavatory in the front of the house where the dining room presently sits. The second floor is arranged with four bedrooms and three baths plus a laundry room. The architecture of the house, the exterior architecture of the house is proposed to be of American traditional style with stone at the base, clapboard siding, and also shake style siding. So we have a play of different styles of siding as well as textures. So it gives the house some visual interest as well as some standing seam metal roofing on the lower front canopies. The variances that the project requires are as follows. And I'll be as concise as I can. Front yard setback in the zone, in the R1 zone, is 30 feet. The existing is 31 feet, and we are proposing 23.12 feet from the front lot line to the front edge of the covered porch that we're proposing at the main entrance. The existing vestibule is remaining, as you see in the photograph. You'll see the vestibule protruding forward, and we are proposing a covered front portico. The total distance, including the stair, is 4 feet 4 inches from the existing front wall of the entrance. So the platform will be 3 feet 4 inches. The second variance that we're requesting is for building coverage. 25% is permitted in the zone. We are at present 19.83, and with the proposed expansion, we would be at 30%. It's important to note that we do have an undersized lot. In the R1 zone, the minimum lot required is 7,500 square feet. The existing lot area is 6,000 square feet with no ability to acquire adjacent land to make the property larger in closer conformity with the ordinance. So the size of the lot is contributing to the variance requirements because we have the undersized lot, which is under the municipal land use law a hardship in and of itself. The lot width requirement is 75 feet, and we are at 60. It's important to note that although we do have a setback variance, it's very slight, despite the fact that we have an undersized lot with respect to width. The required side yard setback is 7.5 feet. We are at 7.02 feet at the back right corner or the northwest corner. And basically, we are taking the existing line of the house on the northerly side and just extending it back. So that's where we have the deficiency. The lot coverage, excluding yard amenities, 30% is permitted. We are 27.41%. We are proposing 40.96. And lot coverage, including yard amenities, 35% is permitted. We are at 36.41, which is a pre-existing non-conforming condition, and we are proposing 45.46. Now, since we submitted the application, I had discussions with Mr. and Mrs. Malfi about reducing the impervious coverage. So if we were to take the area of that back proposed new stair and platform, that's 62 square feet, with having open joints in the decking and the and pervious surface below, just some decorative stones so we don't get mud back there. We can reduce that to 16 square feet from 62. And by doing permeable pavers for the rear patio, we can reduce that from 240 square feet to 120 square feet. So if we do that calculation, we could reduce the impervious coverage from 46% to 42.76% simply by changing the types of pavement back there. And with that, I answer any and all questions the board has.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bruno. Start with our zoning officer, Mr. Depkin.
Yes, I didn't get the information on the impervious coverage or pervious coverage. So, depending upon what those calculations are, I'm going to, agree with Mr. Bruno. Other than that, no comments.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Costa.
One thing, what
Mr.
about
Costa.
the driveway in the
Mr.
front?
Costa, I'm sorry, Michael. Thanks.
If you're expanding the driveway in the front, correct?
Yes,
From one car to a two car?
yes.
What if you make those permeable also? Then you pick up, I think, another 287 square feet?
Let me get my calculator and I'll check. So the proposed driveway area is 574. So if we do the permeable pavers, we'd be at half of that. So we would be
287?
287, and taking that from the previous revised total, 2566 minus 287, that gives us 2279. I just state that for the record here. And then if we divide that by 6,000, we come up with, let me just check that again. Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, 287, I'm subtracting, so 2279 divided by 6,000 is 3798. We bring the impervious coverage down to 37.98. Instead of 43.76.
I'm sorry, what was the number? All right. What was your total again? I'm sorry.
Total I had was 22.
You're reducing the deck, right? 62 to 75% of that.
Right, we went, the deck was reduced to 16 square feet.
Okay. And then you got the patio.
The patio was
240.
reduced to 120,
Okay. And then
and the driveway is being reduced to 287.
okay, so when you do all the arithmetic, what's your total?
Total is 2279.
$37.98, so 38.
38, yeah. Yeah, I'd like to give the exact number and then we can round.
And the driveway pavers, that is the entire driveway or just the widened portion?
No, that would be the entire.
The entire driveway.
Yeah. Good with that.
A question about the lot coverage amenities. The purpose of that was if the structure had already been built and a new owner came in and wanted to put a patio, it wasn't possible because it had been maxed out during construction. But if there's a plan for a rear deck and a patio, hasn't that concern been covered? Does he need to have that 9 square feet, actually, whatever that comes out to? I think it was 9 square feet. As a set aside for an amenity when the amenity's already there.
We're talking about the total lot coverage right now.
If I may,
Including
Mr. Cray,
Yeah, it's including.
the stair and platform is not intended as a deck. It's simply to allow passage from the interior of the home down to the patio. If you look at at photograph number, I believe it's 6, photograph number 6, you'll see that the first floor elevation above the grade is 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 risers. So plus the door is about 3.5 to 4 feet. So we need at least a platform with stairs to get down to the patio.
But then there's the patio.
Yes,
So there is a backyard amenity of the patio. Which was the whole reason of, having the amenity, the 5% amenity required was so that patios could be added. Because that was the challenge we kept running into. But if there already is a patio, does there need to be another X square feet, 5% to meet that requirement? It seems to me like we're kind of over requiring amenity space here.
We're not talking about the 5% that has to be allocated to
Yeah.
the amenities. We're talking about the total lot coverage, including amenities. That's what we're talking about right now. That's the 37.98 total lot coverage with the discounts for the deck and the permeable pavers. Total lot coverage, not the allocated amount for amenities.
Okay.
With your reductions in the pavers and the open decking, does that also bring down the lot coverage excluding yard amenities? Because isn't the driveway included in that?
it brings down both, because the driveway, I believe, is counted is excluded from the yard amenities.
So maybe if you could find that number for us too, that would be great.
Just be patient.
Yeah.
As you can tell, I'm still trying to wrap my head around the whole yard amenities, but that's okay. I'll get there. 2458 is the final improved lot coverage excluding the yard amenity. So 2458 minus 287, which is half of the driveway area. Right, because we got that. Yeah. Okay, 2458 minus 287 is 2171 divided by 6,000 is 36.18. That's excluding yard amenities. And I believe the permitted is 30% excluding yard amenities, correct?
Yeah, yes. That's correct.
And then with yard amenities, we're at 38.
Mr. Costa, anything further?
Yeah, no, I just want to make sure because the stairs are sitting on top of the patio, but I think you excluded, you're not doubling it.
Right, we're not extending the
it's-
patio beneath the stairs.
Okay, because it's 4 by 15.4. So you took that into the decking.
Right, that's all open joints, so we can count, per the ordinance, we can count 25% of it.
Correct. No, I just want to make sure you didn't hurt yourself, but you did.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
I try not to.
Okay, I'm just checking.
Not always successful, but I try.
I'm good.
You're good? Okay. Let's move to questions and comments from the board. Mr. Godier, can I start with you?
Sure.
no questions at this time. Thank you.
Mr. Craig,
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
So we have, and I always get it wrong, positive and negative criteria, right? So I guess you're saying that, that you're looking for this, variance because it's an undersized lot.
Undersized lot. So we have a hardship based on the undersized lot. And I would also say that based on the, you know, and, it isn't in, you know, within the scale of the other recent projects that I put before the board, but it's also, inherently beneficial in the sense that it's taking, it's taking a, quite old house and modernizing it for modern family life, as well as, because it's bringing it more in accordance with the way the neighborhood has begun to develop over time, especially recently. And if you go to drawing sheet number 3, turn to that, look at the front elevation, it's greatly improved over that which is there at present. So the Malkys are trying to expand their home to properly accommodate their growing family, as well as to provide a good face to the neighbors, and trying to not mimic what the neighbors are doing, but being empathetic to and being respectful of what the neighbors have been starting to do, and having the house become part of the neighborhood fabric as it continues.
You're also pulling another car off the street and onto the site, right? You've expanded the driveway.
Yes, expanding the driveway, so we have two side by side parking spaces, as well as the garage.
The reason I ask is we recently, Councilman Glass can affirm this, we recently had a resident come in and very concerned about how this affects the neighbors in size and dimensions. So you're looking for a variance in front yard setback, you're going from 31 feet to 23 feet. Is that correct?
Excuse me?
Front yard setback is 30 feet to 23 feet, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
As if you look at the site plan, we're proposing a covered front porch and a couple of risers, so one tread, two risers. So in this area is where there is a walkway at present. So we're creating, and if you go back to photograph number 1, then you compare it to the east elevation, you'll see that the benefit of the enhanced architecture far outweighs the numbers, you know, the setback, the lesser setback to the street.
So you're gonna have the vestibule and the portico.
The vestibule is there already, and then the portico is open on 3 sides. It's supported by 2 columns. It's simply a roof, so
So it's
that
gonna be in front of the vestibule.
it's gonna be in front of the vestibule.
That's why they're getting to this.
Yeah, I just
Right,
wanted to
you'll
go
have
over
a
this.
stair platform, so basically, right now, there's not even an adequate stair platform. It doesn't even comply. It complied with whatever loose code there may have been when the house was built. But in New Jersey, we didn't have the first codified building codes until the 1970s. So back when this house was built, it wasn't even a code requirement, but you could see that, for safety, for amenity, and also
Right,
aesthetics.
but that doesn't require building a vestibule on the front, does it?
Oh, no. What I'm saying is simply that
That doesn't
when the
require-
house was built.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So
But-
just so that I get this right, building coverage is 25%, you're going up 5% or to 30. Lot coverage excluding yard amenities is 30% and you're going up to 37%, another 7%. And lot coverage excluding yard amenities is 35 and you're going up to 38. Well, that's only 3% increase. No more questions at this time.
Councilman? I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Mr. Gibbons.
Just to help with that, the questions about that, what is the distance, if you know, from the actual edge of the house? Forget the portico and that, from the edge of the main part of the house to the street.
The edge of the existing house.
Yeah,
That-
without, the main part of the house, like on the
Yeah,
sides.
the main box, you're looking about, we're probably 26 feet to the main box of the house. And that would be the main box of the house, as we say, is the two-story portion.
Mhm.
The vestibule is, the vestibule right now is 1 story, as will be the portico. So and again, the front edge of the portico is open on 3. The portico is open on 3 sides. It's supported by, it's just a roof supported by columns.
Right, and the intent there is that you have some covering over you when you're coming into that.
Some cover, and also we're in the shop from home age, and
Protect your Amazon.
packages have to go somewhere.
That's all I have. Thanks.
Mr. Salvo.
I don't have any questions.
Ms. Bowen.
I do, just back with the front yard setback, you're not increasing the front yard other than the portico.
Correct. The main box of the house is staying where it is.
Okay, so the survey does say 31 feet for the
30.
existing home.
That number did seem a little low, what you told me.
I think.
Yeah, that,
but-
I think I had the setback line in the wrong place.
Okay.
It's 26 feet to the
Yeah.
vestibule,
And
but
I-
31 feet was the existing front yard setback.
Yeah,
So-
31 to the existing box,
So the front yard is conforming except for the portico.
except for the portico.
That's it.
Ms. Lemire.
No questions right now.
Mr. Bruno, can you talk a little bit about the topography of the lot?
The topography in the front is fairly level and flat, and it slopes off down in the back. There will be no manipulation of the grades. We won't be regrading, so the natural sheet flow, so to speak, within the grass area will still be as it is now. The patio will continue to be level. Because the proposed patio is in the area of the existing patio, so that we're basically squaring off this edge, and then the lot gently slopes off. But we do have steps coming from the first floor of the house down to the patio as they exist today in terms of the vertical distance.
What sort of conditions exist today when you have storm runoff back there? Do you have a water condition? Is it
That
drained?
would be better answered by Mr. and Mrs. Bounty.
Not that we're aware of. Issues, are asking, are there any issues in warning trap back there or?
Well, more water, it's given the change in grade, does you have water running off your property onto the property behind you? You're creating any sort of condition for your neighbor at this time without.
And what really tell you is the lots behind are deeper and there's actually like, the fencing is usually like 5-6 feet away. So it's like a gap between the properties where it's more their property and that it's there's a retaining wall there. There's a drop off and a lot of space between the property.
If you look on sheet number 1, we do have stormwater retention proposed on site. I believe Mr. Costa had reviewed that, and not to my knowledge, he found an issue with that. So we will be capturing the rainwater from the new roof areas, and to the tune of, I think, 3 inches per hour, which is the standard that we're required to abide by.
Okay. And the pavers for the new walkway that you have in your plan, are those going to be permeable as well?
That was not in the calculation, but while we're at it, we could see what that would do.
Mr. Chairman, just one. Couldn't you, if you had to, couldn't you take out the walkway from the sidewalk to the house and just have the one walkway? You would walk up the driveway and then.
That would be a bit difficult, especially when there are 2 cars parked there, because it would be a tight
That's gonna
squeeze.
invite skinny people over there.
I am that, I walk across the grass all the time.
I'm saying,
Every day.
yeah, but no good. I don't know.
I have it in
My
my
question
house and
is-
I have no problem with accessibility.
I'm wondering if if you don't mind, Chairman. Thank you. So with all this increase in square footage for the actual home, could the vestibule possibly be converted into the portico? And then you don't have the issue with the setback. I mean, you're increasing the square footage significantly. I'm thinking of, ideally there could be some trade-offs here. And I'm wondering if that vestibule could just be converted into portico and someone could build a closet somewhere or whatever purpose that vestibule is serving could somehow be accommodated in expansions that you're making otherwise to the building.
And I'm just studying that as you're speaking.
Yeah, I don't expect an answer on the fly, but that's gonna be honestly a concern.
But one of the benefits of the vestibule is that when you open the door, you've got a place, you've got a place to take off the wet things before going in. And if we have the front door back here, then it becomes at the bottom of the
Well,
stair.
I have a portico and keeps us very dry.
No, I'm talking about when what's on the ground that gets picked up by shoes and you're walking in the rain.
Oh.
Yeah.
So where's the mudroom?
Mudroom is right to we have a bench with cubbies just to the right as you come in through here, so you can take your shoes off in the vestibule and then store them once you walk into the house.
I'm not the architect, but that's, my suggestion is I think it's pretty functional if you have a portico where the vestibule is. And when you enter the house, you walk into the mudroom like you just described.
I think if we could have, well, if we can continue on that thread, then if we could have maybe 5 minutes.
Sure.
Sure.
I think we've reached the end of.
I just had
Portions,
one
but-
question. If now that you're revising your variance requests based on the permeable pavers and those reductions, those new numbers, the new total square footage, if this was a conforming lot area of 7,500, would the application be compliant?
I could run the numbers, but I don't think we'd be here.
It would just be for the front
I
yard
can run the
setback.
numbers. It would just be the setback, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let me just run that number. If we took I think the last number we had with the total, I get, well, if let's take the 2279, because that'll just give us, if we take the 2279 divided by 7,500, which is the
Yeah, you get 30.4.
the permitted comes up to 30.3, 30.3 at 30.4.
I get
5
30.
just.
But I mean, we don't have a 7,500 square foot lot. We have a 6,000 square foot lot.
Right, but that was
Just for comparison.
Yeah.
Okay. Any further questions from the board before we open to the public?
I just like to say, I don't really necessarily have an issue with the portico and I think the way it's set up, it looks nice. I don't personally see a need to remove what's there. That's just me.
All right, at this time,
Excuse me, Chairman.
yes, Mr. Deputy.
The codes gives a leeway of 6 feet if it's a porch into the front yard. So if you want to consider this comparable to a porch, it gives you that 6 foot leeway. It'd still be over by less than 2 feet, but reduces it.
Really minimal.
Okay, I'll look for a motion at this time to open to the public.
So moved.
Yeah, Mr. Gibbons, Mr. Cody, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstained? Okay, is there anybody in the public who wishes to be heard on this application only at this time?
There's someone on Zoom.
Okay.
All right, Ms. Adal?
Yes,
If you-
can you hear me okay?
Yes,
Yes.
could you please just state your name and address for the record?
Sure. Good evening. I'm Yakiri Melina Adal, ADAL, owner of 477 Windsor Road.
Okay, good evening. If you could go
Sure.
ahead with your statement.
Thanks. So I'm here to express a concern, not oppose the Malkys improving their home. Their renderings look great. My concern is about the cumulative impervious coverage, and maybe with the updated numbers, this will change. But the plans include a recharge system, which again, I appreciate. And the stormwater calculation is sized to the 532 square foot new roof area. But the impervious coverage on the lot is increasing by a lot more than that. So just want to confirm that they'll have appropriate recharge system given the total of the impervious coverage area, impervious coverage.
Okay, thank you.
Simple answer, yes.
Yes, we have to
If you could
comply
turn your
with
microphone on.
with the ordinance, and if the project were to be, if the project were to be approved, then the homeowner would have to hire a civil engineer to prepare a site plan. I have the stormwater chamber on the drawing to just inform the board and let the board know that we are thinking about stormwater management.
And that stormwater management will include, again, the added driveway and walkway and all of that.
In accordance with the ordinance.
Well, they'll be pervious.
Well, oh,
So-
that's right, we
so
do have the pervious. So
That'll
we
be
can-
pervious.
So
So you're
that's
gonna
not,
pick up the additional roof.
right.
So I guess the real question is, once you do the arithmetic, the driveway area cuts down in half, correct? So
Correct.
574, cut that in half so we can get the right numbers. The stone patio in the back also cuts down in half.
That
The
is correct.
walkway, 140 square feet, I guess that's the entire walkway.
You're talking about the front one?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Let's see. Front walkway, that was 140, so that would go down to 70.
Okay. So if you do that arithmetic, what are you down to now for impervious?
So let's see, total impervious was,
I think your total impervious was 2458,
2458,
correct?
yes. So then we're subtracting,
574, right? 574
well,
plus
no,
240.
we're not subtracting 574, we're
No, I'm gonna add
subtracting
them
half
up
of
and then
that.
divide it by 2.
Oh, okay,
And then 140, correct? 574 plus 240 plus 140?
357.
So
240, what was,
954 divided by 2, 477? No?
you had 574 plus 240, then you had the
140.
140 plus 240 plus 140? And then we had the 62, no, the 62, that's a separate issue.
25% of that,
Yeah, so 574 plus 240 plus
plus
140.
140. Right? 477?
$477, so 2458 minus 477,
And then you're gonna reduce the,
1981 divided by 6,000.
well, you're gonna take off the 62 square feet. You only, right? 62?
1981 minus 60, that's right. Minus 62.
Well, not the total 62, but
Plus 16.
75% of that.
That's
62.
46.5. Call it 46 for ease of calculation.
Okay.
$1873.
Divided by 6,000.
31.2.
And your allowable is 30?
30.
You're almost there. You get rid of the front walk and now you're there. But anyway, I know you like it, Council.
I don't. It's still, time.
That was a lot of numbers.
31.2.
All right.
That's with doing full pavers in the front
Front walkway.
and the rear.
All right, so your numbers, Mr. Costa, Mr. Bruno, your numbers are consistent?
This seems consistent. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, at this time, I'll take a motion to close to the public. Unless there's,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain? Okay, at this time, I'll look for further, any remaining comments or questions from the board on this application? Mr. Bruno, do you need to consult with your clients on anything?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right, that being said, I'll look for a motion on the application, please.
See what variance.
Need a itemization of all they agreed to.
Yeah.
Well, let's have
Yeah.
Brown read out if you can.
Okay. I think I lost you on the last bit, but. All right, we have a variance for front yard setback of 23.12 feet. A variance for building coverage of 30%. An agreement to have open joints with pervious surface below the deck platform area in the rear. And permeable pavers for the patio, the driveway, and the front walkway. Is
Yes.
that correct? Okay. Then that reduces the
Lot coverage.
lot coverage with yard amenities to, let's see, 38%. Or did that was further reduced now?
Further reduced.
Yeah, be further reduced, yeah.
If I can through the chair, can we do that number this way?
Right, yeah.
minutes.
I think maybe what we should do is start it over so that we make, because we've gone, so we started out. We talk about,
Don't worry about where you started. Let's see where we finish. So.
no, I
we're
want to
down to
make sure that,
31.2%.
right.
Now you have to do the yard amenities. Right, you have to revise that number.
The 31.2 is excluding yard amenities?
Yes.
31.2
total.
includes the yard amenities, right?
Instead of 40.9.
Okay, and then the yard amenities, we've got,
So 25% of the stair, that's correct.
right,
Plus 240 goes to 140. The AC unit.
no, the 40 goes to 120.
I'm sorry, 120, correct. So just do that arithmetic and
And then we've got the condenser units, right?
that's not gonna change though, right?
No, we still have eight,
So 16 plus 120 plus 18,
plus 18.
plus 18.
$154.
Divided by 6,000.
$2.5%. So the yard amenities comply.
So what's the total lot coverage with amenities?
35.6. 32.6.
31.2
31.2.
plus 2.5,
31.2 is without,
Without it.
It was 30.2.
33.7.
33.7.
Okay. Just for clarity, for the record, the setback for the front yard is just for the enclosure. It's not going to allow you to go bring the whole house out to the 23 feet.
Oh, of course, yeah, no.
I just want to
Yeah,
put that in the resolution.
Yeah.
Yes,
Because if you
yeah,
put in there, you just got a variance for the front yard setback of 23, and guess what? I'd be in tomorrow morning and pushing the house out to 23 feet off the front yard.
yeah, but then it just messes up everything we've worked on.
I get a bigger backyard.
Yeah. No, we don't do
So
that.
just to clarify, the front yard setback just to the portico, we know that of 23.12.
Right.
Building coverage is still 30%. Lot coverage with yard amenities is now
3.7.
33.7.
33.7.
With amenities
Mm-hmm.
and without
31.2.
31.2.
Two? Yes. So, yeah, too bad. We still have the setback issue, the front yard setback issue, which is, as the mayor mentioned, the kind of thing that, you know, we have to think about because people in our community find that objectionable, that type of thing, that type of encroachment on setbacks.
Of the structure or the portico?
A recent complaint was about a side setback. But that
And
doesn't
height.
mean that people are gonna love a front setback deviation. What our code is.
I thought we were looking more towards allowing porch type things and allowing those to encroach into the front yard setback because we see those as appealing architectural. As opposed to not having them and
I'm not an architect, but personally, I think it's strange to have a portico in front of a vestibule like sticking out in the house, but if I understand correctly from Mr. Depkin, we're actually within 2 feet, right?
Yes.
Of what? The code.
Correct. Yeah. Okay.
All right, and then otherwise comply with the borough engineer's recommendations regarding stormwater management and
Yes.
the other comments in the report regarding setbacks for pavement from the property lines and things like that.
Correct.
I think that was everything unless I missed something. So now it's just 3 variances and that's what you're sticking with. Only 3 variances.
I think we eliminated one of them.
Okay. No more.
Yeah, the lot coverage, including the yard amenities. You know.
Yeah, now it's,
Yeah, now it's.
Yeah, we're under the
Fine.
35%.
so you can just comply with 35%. You don't have to stick to 33.7. You can comply with 35.
Right, yeah.
Okay. All right, so that's everything for me.
So I have 3 variances.
so I'll make a motion for block 814 lot 10 to approve the variances and the stipulations set forth that Ms. Brown just read.
Second.
Okay, we have first Mr. Gibbons and a second Mr. Godier.
All right, Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Caslin,
Yes.
Mr. Cray,
Yes.
Ms. Boland,
Yes.
Mr. Gibbons,
Yes.
Mr. Salva,
Yes.
Mr. Gautier,
Yes.
Councilman Glass.
I'm voting no because I think this can be, at least one of the variances can be resolved without a significant hardship on it. So no.
Okay, and Ms. Levine.
Yes.
All right, the motion passes.
Okay. Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Mr. Bruno,
Thank you.
please get revised plans as soon as you can, so we have all the numbers consistent. There was a lot of math going back. and
Yes, of
forth
course.
today.
Mhm.
So let's make sure we get the right numbers on the file plans.
We don't like
Thank you, folks.
surprises. Congrats.
Thank you so much.
Moving on our agenda for the evening, one housekeeping item, we are going to have a 10:30 curfew this evening. Under new business, our next application is for 320 Lexington Drive, block 1106, lot 26. The applicant is Christina Costanzo. Application seeking approvals for additions and site improvements to a single-family home. Good evening. The applicant and applicant's professional.
Yes.
All right,
Just kind of.
please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, and Ms. Costanzo, could you please state your name and address for the record?
Sure. Christina Costanzo, 320 Lexington Drive, River Edge, New Jersey.
And is it Mr. Bella?
Yes.
All right, please state your name, address, and provide the board some background on your licensure. I know you've been before the board before, but it's been a while.
Yes. Scott Bella, 65 Glen Avenue, Glen Rock, New Jersey. My license in New Jersey is in good standing. I've been licensed for 29 years now, and been doing residential additions, alterations, and new constructions for those 30 years. I've been in front of the board, yes, a couple years back, but I've been throughout Bergen County for the past, 20 years, and, throughout a lot of.
Okay, license in good standing?
It is still in good standing, yes.
Okay, very good. Questions from the board as to Mr. Bella's qualifications? Okay, being none. Floor is yours.
Thank you. So applicant is looking to do an addition to her home, looking to do a rear yard, one-story addition, and then do a partial add a level on top of the dwelling. We're not looking to do a full add a level to create this big boxy two-story house. So we're looking to do something that has a little more charm to it. Looking to put a front porch on the dwelling as well. It is a front porch that does not require a variance in that we have that 6-foot leeway. And, we just wanted to add some curb appeal and charm to the house. So we think that the front porch will allow us to do that. And we're here this evening asking for several variances as it relates to coverages as well as a rear yard setback. So the rear yard setback is to the deck where the requirement is 25 foot and we're at 19 foot to the deck. And the second variance we're asking for is a building coverage where 25% is the requirement, and we're asking for 32% for that coverage. Lot coverage excluding yard amenities, 30% is the requirement, and we're at 33.08%. And lot coverage including yard amenities, 35% is the requirement, and we're at 39.3%, but we're going to look to change that with the pervious pavers, as I just learned we can use today. So the idea is we're going to do the pervious coverage for the patio as well as the front walk, and that will take the impervious coverage down from 39.3 down to 37%. So it's roughly 2% less than we were proposing before we started this conversation. We are asking for a C2 variance as it relates to, positive criteria outweighing any detriments. We do believe that the positive criteria of this dwelling will outweigh any detriments in that it's a residential home, will have similar roof lines as well as materials that will fall very nicely in the context of the block. It's a residential feel. We have the porch, which adds a lot of curb appeal as well. And for those same reasons, we don't see any detriments to the overall, zoning code in that we have a charming home, residential in feel, and fits well within the context of the block. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that the board has at this time.
Okay, thank you. We're going to start with our professional, Mr. Depkin.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. In regards to the deck, and you have the proposed patio, could the deck be, or have you considered the deck being redesigned to meet the rear yard setback?
We haven't, but we did talk about the size of the deck in order to comfortably fit a table out there. So if it does comply, it would be very narrow and not allow us to get a decent size table and chairs out there and be able to walk around it.
Okay, and you're proposing to do permeable pavers for the hardscape? For the
Correct.
patio, driveway,
and
walkway?
patio. Correct.
We'll have to calculate those numbers.
I have the numbers so we can, I can give them when you need them. Yes.
Okay. I have nothing else, Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Depkin. Mr. Costigan.
It's the same thing. I don't know if you want to go over the numbers, so. You want to go over the numbers slowly? If you're going to amend something?
So the patio currently is 280 square foot, reduced down to 140. The walkway is 83 square foot, reduced down to 41.5. those percentages, when you add them together, add up to 2.3%, which would reduce our 39.3 proposed down to 37% for the
37.
for the overall lot coverage with yard amenities.
And you're not doing anything with the driveway or the walkway in the front, correct?
The walkway will be, that's included in the pervious, but the driveway will remain the
As
way
is.
you see it today. Yeah, we're repaved, of course.
Repaved or?
I believe it's going to be repaved. I think it's on the older side. Yeah, so it's going to be cleaned up.
Okay, but you could also make that pavers if you wanted to, if you're gonna change that, but to reduce it further.
We did have that discussion. I believe that you wanted to keep it paved.
Yeah.
So so we're looking to pave it.
And I guess the only other question is when you walk out of the deck off the back,
Yes,
it looks like you have a sliding glass door. You have the laundry room to the left.
Mhm.
And then you have a sliding glass door where the table is, correct?
that is correct.
And that's how you're lining up the deck?
That's where we're coming out onto the deck. Yeah.
I have no questions.
Okay. Turn to questions from the board. I'll start, Ms. Levine.
Not right now.
Okay. Ms. Bowen.
Are there additional concessions that could be made for the deck as they were in the last testimony?
So the deck is going to filter water through, and I believe we already took into consideration the 75% rule that the board has. We did take that into consideration.
Thank you. That was all I had.
Okay. Mr. Salo.
No questions at this time.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Gibbons?
So just going along with the deck and the patio, is there a need to have a deck and a patio? Or could you do, have you considered a deck and then you would have the space for the chairs and, you know, whatever that entertaining space is?
I would defer to my client on that one. Yes.
Could we make the patio smaller? We could. I think I need just a little setback. I don't want to put my barbecue on the deck. I would like it just a little bit offset to the deck.
Okay, yeah, because I don't know if you understand, you get more credit for
I
the
get it.
deck allowing through, and then if it's a patio, also if it's a patio, then it's not gonna have the backyard setback issue. If I'm saying that right, is that correct? So if it was a patio,
If it was a patio, you don't have the setback requirement, but you
Right,
don't get as
isn't it-
much credit for the, so for
It's a
the
trade-off.
impervious. But why would you want a deck and a patio? Just out of curiosity, if I can. And again,
Just a little bit more pavered space on the bottom there if I want to put other things there that I don't want on my deck. You know, I want my table and chairs on my deck, but I don't want my grill on my deck. That's the thinking. Again, if we had to, we could make that patio smaller.
yeah, I was just, my line of questioning was, do you need the both? But you obviously have a reason and you want to have the both, so, that was all I had. Thanks.
Okay. Councilman?
I have a question for Mr. Costa. Is there any way we can make applicants aware of these discounts that they can potentially take before they come in here? So they don't have to do all this math on the fly.
here's the thing.
When we have that conversation like before,
Here's the issue. The architect is a professional, and certainly he's read the ordinance and he can go through it because he's taken some credits, but not all the above. But maybe he thinks the board's in a great mood tonight and you're gonna give him an extra.
I just
I'll
want to
take-
make,
yeah.
yeah, if there's a way we can raise the
I'll take the
awareness.
responsibility for missing that. I did pick up on the 75% for the deck, but I didn't see in the ordinance about the pervious.
You're in good company. Almost everyone does
Yeah.
miss it. So the deck is going to be 19 feet from your neighbor's border with your neighbor's backyard.
Correct.
So describe to me your neighbor's backyard, like what's going on?
I
Your
couldn't
neighbor-
tell you that because there's a huge fence, so I don't know what's going on.
Okay. Is that your fence or their fence?
It's their fence.
Okay. I don't have any other questions.
I think if it helps, I think this is.
So the fence, you say it's a huge fence, is it 6-foot fence? Is that what you're saying?
I don't, it's their fence. I guess I cannot see over that fence.
No further questions.
Mr. Craig?
No questions.
Good. Mr. Godier?
Is there anything we can do to get closer to conforming with the present code?
I mean, we could do again, I would defer to my client, but we could do a portion of the driveway with pervious pavers. But again, I would defer to my client whether that's something that, she would like to do.
That's
But that would be,
consider.
I don't love a paver driveway. It's just my preference. If that would help. I don't know, maybe a portion at the top of the driveway nearest to the garage. I don't know, I've seen other things where it's not the whole paver driveway, but portions.
okay with making the patio a little smaller. And we could also make the patio in the back a little bit smaller if the board would like us to. One other thing that I failed to mention is we will be complying with the stormwater that the engineer has required, obviously. So that's
Require that in all applicants, so yeah.
yeah, okay, yeah, not every town does so, and I just got this today, so I just read through it, so yeah, we're definitely going.
We catch you on the back end with the soil movement.
Yeah.
We get you either way.
You get it.
While you're on that topic, could you provide some testimony as to the topography of the lot? What currently exists there, front to back?
So I haven't been there in a while, but it's relatively flat lot, yes, and we're not looking to change the topography by any means. The patio and deck are gonna be, flat surfaces, and we're not looking to move a lot of dirt around, if you will. So it's gonna remain basically the way it is today and relatively flat.
Okay, and do you have a lot of issues with water either leaving your property or coming onto your property from
Not
neighbors?
Unless it's a severe rain.
Mr. Cody, I'm sorry, I hijacked your time. Do you have the other questions? You good? You're good? Okay. All right. Those are my questions as well. All right. The board has no further questions.
Sorry.
Councilman.
I'm looking at a photo, so I don't know if it's accurate on Google Maps. Are there impermeable coverage beyond the footprint of the structure in the front yard? That's not part of the driveway? It looks like,
There's
some
existing walkway that we're taking.
yeah.
Yeah, there's an existing
Oh,
walkway
okay,
that
you're removing that.
that is
Sorry.
being removed.
Okay, I'm
yes.
sorry.
And we're putting a new one in its place. Well, not
Okay.
in the same area, but yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we're squaring it off.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Chairman.
Okay. This time I'll look for a motion to open to the public.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Craig. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Cody. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, same abstain? At this time, we're now open for public comment for this application only. Is there anybody in the public who wishes to be heard on this application? Either live with us or on Zoom?
You can raise your hand on Zoom now. Nope, I don't have
Okay.
anyone.
There being none, I'll look for a motion to close public comment.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Boland. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Salvo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstain? And we're now close to the public. We'll comment on this application. At this time, any further comments, either from our professionals or from the board? Questions?
Yeah,
Craig?
where did we end up with the reductions you made because of impervious coverage? What's the number we're
So
at?
the lot coverage, including yard amenities, went from 39.3 down to 37%.
Okay, and that's without doing anything with the driveway or the patio.
That is with changing the patio to pervious, changing the front walk to pervious, but not changing the driveway to pervious.
Right, and not reducing the size of the patio.
That's correct.
Okay. 37 is a little heavy. That will reflect his question that you may want to do something then.
Take the driveway, I know you don't.
Rob.
Mike.
Sorry. If you take the driveway to 396, take that out, I think it comes out to 34.4.
Yes,
Which is below the
that
35.
is correct.
Then you don't need a variance.
Understood.
Is that the entire driveway or just part?
The entire. Well, you got 6/10, so it's not the entire.
But there's like a cutout.
Yeah, I'm saying, but based on these numbers, if you change everything, keeping what you're proposing, you're down to 34.4. So you eliminate the variance.
Yeah, that's good.
I would think the pavers are a lot more expensive than asphalt. I mean, it's not our concern, but
Well, I don't think there's any changes to the driveway currently proposed, right?
correct.
So
I think there are. I think
Oh,
It's
okay.
paving.
It's gonna be repaved?
Just repave as it is.
Okay.
Right, I'm just saying the cost for,
I'm not even thinking about costs.
I know you're not.
I'm strictly
pointing it out.
34.4. That's all.
Just putting it
Thank
out
you.
Mr. Craig, anything further?
I'm not sure I heard an answer.
Okay.
Takes away.
Would you be okay with that?
Well, yeah. Rather than all pavers.
Okay. So we'd like to propose, because we have a very odd driveway, the straight run that goes from the street to the garage door. We would like to, when we repave, keep that, and the portion to the left of that, take it out and grass and put grass in there.
That's a good idea.
And now I'm gonna have a tough time coming up with that number though. So I'll skip.
That's like a quarter of the driveway, right?
I'm sorry.
Like where, it's a quarter of the driveway?
What
What are the currently
Yeah,
paved?
roughly. It is.
A third?
Is the, if I can, not to be the bearer of bad news. Are you adding bedrooms? Upstairs, right?
Yeah.
Or downstairs?
Yeah.
All right. What'll happen is you're gonna fall into RSIS, that it will not probably meet the RSIS as far as parking.
Oh, because we're taking that portion out.
Probably.
So we would be creating a problem if we.
You might be creating a waiver, de minimis waiver from RSIS, no?
I don't think a car will fit there.
It's very.
So you might have it anyway, quite frankly.
Yeah, I think the current only allows for 2 legal parking spaces as opposed to the 3. I think that is required.
Yeah,
As
already,
it exists.
already we require the waiver. The way it currently is.
So we can further reduce by taking that out. I'm being conservative because I don't have my scale, but I made it a little bit larger than a little bit smaller than what's there. 2%, an additional 2%, bringing it down from 37 to 35%.
Well, what if the waiver, the RSI's compliance? We can give that.
Yes.
So if the coverage is going to be compliant 35%, you could choose how to divvy up the reduction in pavement, either narrow the driveway, take a little bit off the patio, whatever works to fit within that requirement, or change the walkway if you need something like that.
Right.
And then the board would have to grant the waiver for the RSIS as well.
And we'd still need rear yards.
Yeah, they still need that variance.
So we're okay with doing that, right? Yeah, so we're okay with taking that portion of the driveway off.
Okay. All right.
So we're going from 43 now.
Going down one, yeah, correct. So, Ms. Brown, if you would you read back where we are at this point?
So now we have the rear yard setback variance of 19 feet, the building coverage variance of 32%. The lot coverage without yard amenities is going to be reduced slightly as well.
31 to 29.
But now it'll be from 33 to 31% with the driveway reduction.
Okay, so the driveway is not considered a yard amenity? I'm
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, so yes, then, yeah, we're going down 2 percentage points there.
I was already down to 30.
Well,
No,
I don't think that
no, the only thing,
without,
yeah, that didn't change till now.
You think of the last one? We had 31 on the last application. No,
I don't think we didn't reduce anything with the house till now, I don't think.
Just a driveway, right?
But I'm
Yeah.
leaving the math to them.
So 30,
would 31% be
31.08 is, yeah.
0.08.
And then with amenities down to 35.
And then you'll comply with
Yeah,
the
that-
yard,
Not-
the lot coverage with yard amenities at 35%.
That is correct.
And that will all those reductions will be from installing permeable pavers for the patio, the front walkways, eliminating a portion of the driveway and replacing it with grass or some other permeable surface. The deck, underneath the deck is going to be, you're already getting that discount, so there's not going to be any permeable or impervious surfaces under there, and it's going to have open joints. You'll comply with the stormwater management requirements and the borough engineer's recommendations. And that's all I had.
Anything further from the board? Professionals? Okay. With that, I'll look for a motion on the application, please.
Move we approve the application for variance for 320 Lexington Avenue, Lexington Drive, sorry, block 1106, lot 26. Pursuant to the conditions that Ms. Brown.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cray. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Godier.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Caslin,
Yes.
Mr. Cray,
Yes.
Ms. Boland,
Yes.
Mr. Gibbons.
Yes.
Mr. Salva,
Yes.
Mr. Gautier,
Yes.
Councilman Glass,
Yes.
and Ms. Levine. Yes. Okay, the motion passes.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Good luck.
One second before we move on to the next.
Yeah, we're gonna take a 5-minute recess, just to.
Yeah, I'm gonna take this, yeah.
Everybody around.
Okay,
Yeah. You wait, or is it something?
it can wait. I just wanted to go off what Councilman Glass said before about. There we go. It can wait. Okay. It's not urgent.
All right, I have a motion to recess for 5 minutes.
So moved.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same abstain. Now 8:53, we'll reconvene. Let's come back at 9 o'clock. Just like with you.
Ideas. We don't understand.
Reason being, all set? All set? Okay. We are now back in session. This is the Municipal Land Use Board for River Edge, Wednesday, May 27th, 2026. Time now is 9:03. I'm going to briefly call the roll. Now that our dice has changed, Mr. Cray,
Here.
Ms. Boland,
Here.
Mr. Gibbons.
Here.
Mr. Salva,
Here.
Mr. Godier,
Here.
and then Mr. Kenigo is absent. Also present is our Special Board Counsel, Mark Weedman, our Borough Engineer, Mr. Costa, and Zoning Officer, Mr. Deckman. Right. Our next item on this evening's agenda under new business is for Pacific Outdoor Advertising LLC. Property is 14 Route 4 West, Block 1402, Lot 4. Application seeking preliminary and final minor site plan approval and various variances in connection with the installation and operation of a two-sided static billboard. We have the applicant's counsel and engineer with us this evening. It's the officer.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. It's Robert Falkins from the law Stevenson EC on behalf of the applicant Pacific Outdoor Advertising LLC. And we just want to bring up an issue. The last time we were here, we submitted a letter dated March 12, 2026, and regarding the completeness, and we just wanted to make sure that that's part of the record and what could be marked as an exhibit if it's not. I don't know if Mr. Liebman.
What's the date of the letter?
March 12, 2026, our objection to being deemed incomplete at the prior hearing.
Yeah, that's in the files and that's part of the record.
Great. Now, we just also want to bring up that this application, there was a prior application that the board was aware that application is finished. The resolution was issued, and this tonight will be a beginning of a separate new application that, while there may be overlapping experts and testimony, this property stands on its own. The plans, exhibits, the review letters, and testimony will be limited to just this proceeding, and the board, and I'm sure they're well aware, should not consider the prior application as any part of that. With that said, this application concerns 14 Route 4 West, Block 1402, Lot 4 in the Borough of River Edge. The applicant seeks preliminary and final site plan approval together with necessary use height and related bulk variance to permit a static double-faced billboard on a single monopole along the Route 4 corridor. The proposed sign is static. It is not a digital sign. It is 60 feet in height with two 10.5 by 36-foot sign faces, each of 378 square feet for a total sign area of 756. The sign faces are oriented towards Route 4 rather than the residential property to the north. The applicant recognizes that the borough's ordinances do not provide any zone in which a billboard may be located as a permitted use. Therefore, there's no location under which this type of advertising can be undertaken in the borough without seeking a use variance before this board. And that's why we're here tonight. As a result of there being no specific ordinance allowing it, there's no bulk standards for this, and the related height and setback relief must be understood in that context, as the applicant is seeking the necessary use variance, height variance, and related bulk relief so the board can evaluate the specific structure on this Route 4 corridor rather than treating the absence of the billboard specific standards as an automatic basis for denial. The fact that the ordinance does not provide for a location does not end the analysis. It is precisely why the variance process exists. The board's task is to consider whether this particular site at this Route 4 corridor satisfy the statutory criteria for the relief requested, and we believe the testimony and evidence on the record will provide for that proof. And the applicant will present testimony from an engineer and a planner in support of this application. The engineer will address the revised plans and technical review comment. Planner will address the requested variance relief, including site suitability, the positive and negative criteria, and the relationship of the proposed use to the Route 4 corridor. We were made aware that the board's planner wasn't going to be present tonight, so we told our planner not to come. So we will respect that he would obviously have questions, and we wanted to have the testimony tonight. So we'll just proceed with our engineer tonight, and we're ready to go forward if you guys have any other questions of me.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Falk. Is there any questions before?
Clarity? So it's a new application tonight? Is that what I'm understanding?
They haven't presented testimony yet. This is the first night of testimony for the application. They were here just on completeness previously.
I think Mr. Falcon, sir, was just trying to demarcate between this
Mm-hmm.
application and.
And the application that was denied previously.
Oh, okay, that's when I wasn't.
Because it's the same, I mean, they'll be the same people testifying. I just wanted to clarify that this is not the, I believe it was IOT application. This is a
Okay.
brand new application, yes, sir.
Nothing from that application should be considered.
But the previous submittals, did we deem, you've been gone for a while. Did we deem it complete? I don't.
It's
It's
deemed
deemed
complete.
complete.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So from that March letter or what, right, or that meeting?
We submitted that at the last meeting, we were deemed incomplete, and then we submitted the letter, and now we've been deemed complete. We just wanted to make that part of the record.
So when does the time told till?
I don't know.
Yeah, I would have to look, you're talking about the time for the board to act. I would have to go through all the correspondence I've had with Mr. Falcon, starting to determine that.
But we did agree to carry it to tonight, and we, you know, we will carry it to the next available hearing. We're not going to.
I'm not worried about an automatic approval, if that's what you're concerned. But
I always bring this up because I'm that kind of guy, Martin.
I
That's all. Thank you.
I understand.
Officer, the floor is
Okay.
yours.
We're gonna call our first witness.
Please raise your right hand this one. You swear from the testimony you're about to give us the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, nothing but God.
I do.
So sworn, please state your name, spell your last name for the record, and give us your business address.
Sure, good evening. It's William R. Vogt Jr. Last name is V as in Victor, O, G like girl, T like Tom. Business is L2A Land Design LLC, located at 66 Grand Avenue, second floor, Englewood, New Jersey, 07631.
Mr. Boyd, could you please state your profession?
Sure, I'm the civil engineer on the project,
How long have you practiced?
going on roughly 25 years.
And is your license in good standing?
It is,
And have you testified previously before this board?
I have.
And if you keep going, the board will accept this as an expert.
Yeah, any questions about Mr. Vogt's qualifications from the board? Yeah, I didn't think so. You may proceed.
Thank you.
Mr. Boyd, could you please describe the scope of the engagement with respect to this project? No.
Sure, we were hired to prepare the site plans that were submitted as part of the application. And as part of that, we also had our subconsultant prepare a property survey.
And that
of
survey,
site plans.
and that survey is entitled Topographic Survey of the Property prepared by William BLS of Lakeland Surveying, consisting of one sheet and revised April 9th, 2026. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And that was previously submitted to the board?
That's correct. And the plans have been, that's been reflected on the site plans as well.
Now, have you physically inspected the property to undertake this engagement?
Yes, I've been to the property several times.
Now, could you please confirm with the board the basic elements of the proposed billboard?
Sure. So again, I have the set of site plans that were submitted as part of the application. I don't know if you want me to mark them as an exhibit.
Just refer to it by date so we can make sure we have.
Sure, it's a 3-page set consisting of drawings C-01 through C-03. Revision 2 dated 4/22/2026.
And did you prepare these plans?
I did.
And is that your firm seal and signature on them?
It is.
And these plans that are appearing tonight have not been modified to the ones that were submitted to the board, is that correct?
No, they're the same plans. So again, the property is located at 14 New Jersey State Highway Route 4. We're on the westbound side of Route 4. It's Lot 4, Block 1402. It's found on your tax map 14, and we're in the C1 Commercial Neighborhood Business Zone. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip to an aerial photograph, which I can label A1.
Was that included in the package?
No, it was not.
Okay, then let's call that A1.
So A1 is just an aerial image of the area and the subject property. I highlighted the property in red. It's a corner lot. It has frontage, so orientation to the right of the page is north,
Route 4 is to our south. Route 4 traverses east and west, west being to the top of the page. Our proposed site is on the northerly side of the westbound portion of Route 4. It's at the intersection of Lakeview Street. It's a relatively small piece of property. It's a 6,995 square foot. That's about 0.16 acres. It's an irregular shaped property. For the most part, I'd say it's triangular in nature. There's an existing two-story commercial building on the subject lot. There's a single driveway, roughly 12 to 13 feet in width on the northerly side against the residential neighbor. That leads to a parking area that's directly behind the building. In that building, there are two commercial uses. There's an architect and there's an astrology business. I'll get into that a little further on in testimony. We're not impacting any of the site circulation by the placement of the billboard foundation on the property. I'm going to get into some of the parking upgrades that we have presented on the application. There was, if you remember, when we were here for our completeness hearing, there was a portion of the property that the owner was utilizing as their parking area, which was not part of their property. It was part of the DOT right-of-way. We did a updated title search. There are no easements granting the property owner use of that small portion of the property that's in the DOT right-of-way. So we have taken that into consideration. We updated the survey based on the new title report, which slightly amended the property boundary along Route 4. There was a newer map in the title search that showed a different radius along the property line that's shared with Route 4. So we calculated that into the updated survey. It reduces the size of the property by approximately 37 square feet. But again, I'll get into testimony about how we're going to restripe and reutilize that parking area to accommodate the most amount of parking spaces that we feel that we can fit in that area in the back. I have another exhibit just for testimony. I'll label that A2. A2 is just a color rendering of the site plan, sheet C-02. It has the same date, revision 2, dated 4/22/26. The only difference between this sheet and the sheet that was submitted as part of the application, we just added color to it, just for testimony purposes. So again, we highlighted the property in red. Route 4 is on the left-hand side or on the southern side of the property. It travels west and eastbound direction, but we are on the westbound portion of the site. That portion of the DOT right-of-way that I was speaking of before is this small portion just to the west, in the rear of the building that was paved, and it was being utilized as parking. So I just wanted to point out that area. We're going to present some improvements to work around that area, but I'll get to that later on. Our proposed application is for a proposed static billboard. It's going to be two-sided. The sign is the panels on both sides of the sign are going to be 10.5 feet tall by 36 foot in width. And the total height of the sign above the ground is 60 feet. It's supported by a single foundation and monopole So the structure itself, when you see it vertically, it looks like a flag. That's how I would describe it. We typically billboards have a V so that the sign faces are oriented to the traveling public who we're advertising to. This particular sign has a 25-foot V separation at the back. The setbacks, as far as the location of the proposed sign, I pushed it as close to the Route 4 right-of-way as possible. I put the foundation just out of the parking area. In there, we have a small grass landscaped area that's between the existing parking area and Route 4. I put the foundation within there. I protected it with concrete bollards or concrete filled steel bollards from the parking area. And then the superstructure of the sign sits above the parking area. The sign does not cantilever over the existing building. However, it does cantilever over the existing parking area. So just for our bulk table, the permitted height in the zone is 30 feet. We're proposing 60 feet for the proposed billboard. The front yard setback is also 30 feet in the zone. We're at 2.28 feet, and that is measured to the closest vertical piece of the sign face to the front property line along Route 4. The side yard setback is actually, we don't have a side yard setback, so it's not applicable. Our rear yard setback is permitted is 20 feet. We're at 9.37 feet. And again, the rear property is the northerly property line, where we are adjacent to residential uses. So that's where we have the 9.37. As far as the parking on the site, I pulled the property card from your tax assessor's office. The building has a total gross square footage of 1,612 square feet. Tenant number 1, who's the architect, occupies 552 square foot. And then the astrology tenant, who's tenant number 2, occupies the remainder. That's 1,060 square feet. When you use that and calculate the required parking for office, business, and professional uses, it's 1 for every 250 square foot of gross floor area.
150?
For every 250 square foot, 1 per 250. So when you do the math, it comes out to 6.45 spaces are required. So I rounded up to 7 per your ordinance. What I'm showing on the proposed application is 6 parking spaces, including 1 ADA stall and 1 compact stall. The compact stall, your ordinance doesn't permit compact spaces, so that would be a variance for that stall size. But I was able to get 6 spaces on the subject property, including that compact space. I am limited to the drive aisle. I don't quite have 24 foot for the totality of the parking area. I do have 20.45 feet is the narrowest width of the drive aisle. So I have, when you come into the back of the parking lot, directly behind the proposed building, I have my first ADA space with its access aisle. Then I have 3 adjacent head-in parking stalls towards Route 4. The compact space is at the very end. This triangular piece is the piece that was removed because that was part of the DOT right-of-way. And then I have two head-in parking spaces to the west for a total of 6. So again, we are asking for parking variance where 7 is required. We're providing 6 with some dimensional variances in that. The tenants, very low usage in parking. The architect is the owner of the building. He is the only occupant of his business. He has normal business hours during the day. The astrologist is a single person. She typically has off business hours to accommodate her clients. They're either early in the morning before their customers go to work, or when they're done with work, they come after hours. So there really is a separation of the tenant usage on the property. Rarely do you have both tenants there at the same time. Not that I'm saying it doesn't happen, but occasionally, we could have up to 2 parking spaces being used. And if one or both of them had a client at the same time, a total of 4 spaces would be utilized at any one time on the property based on the current uses. So I am providing 6 spaces. So we think it's sufficient for the current usage of the building.
Now, does the billboard itself require any additional parking?
No, the sign does not. Then I'm just gonna flip back to the site plans. I'm gonna flip to the 3rd page, which is our elevation. And this helps you get a perspective of the sign itself. So again, 60-foot sign height, it's 10.5 foot tall, 36 foot in width. I have a 3-foot apron that's below it that houses the billboard sign number and the applicant's name. That's in accordance with the DOT, with their DOT permit. This particular static sign has a vinyl copy, so it changed at least once a month, if not more, depending on the leases that they have. But on typically for a static sign, the copy is changed at least once per month per side. So I always have technicians going out to the site at least on one occasion per month. It could be 2 or 3, depending on if it's a 2-week lease or a 4-week lease on the vinyl copy. The sign face itself is illuminated with 3 exterior LED light fixtures. We've all passed billboards on the roadways. Those lights shine. They're angled towards the sign face. We did provide some photometrics of the spillage off to the side. These lights are capable of dimming, so we can dim them by 60%. So we can dim them down to just 40% output. So what I did is I calculated what the light level would be at the property lines, assuming that we were going down to the 40%. So at the rear of the property, where we're adjacent to the residential, the billboard is 10.84 feet in distance. So with the light dimming reduction, I would be at 1.6 foot candles. And that's at an elevation of 77.5 feet. Okay, so the ground elevation below that is approximately 25.5. So at approximately 50 feet in the air, that's where the reading of 1.6 foot candles is. The light, as you drop down below the sign, once I get to elevation 67.5, which is roughly, 12 feet lower than my prior reading, I'm at 0.1 foot candles. And then anything lower than that level, basically gets to 0. So that light, reading is higher than the peaks of both the roof on the subject property and the adjacent residential use next to us. We're closer to the front property line along Route 4, so it's a little more challenging to get that light in compliance. I am closer to the property line. My closest is at 3.32 feet. And I will have, assuming a 40% reduction, my light level is 6.6 foot candles. It is against the DOT right of way, not residential. And we do have the same reduction factor at the elevation 67.5. I do get down to the 0.1 foot candles. But again, at the 50 something feet above the ground along the DOT right of way, I would be at a 6.6 foot candle. The lights also are capable of having shields. If you look at this this picture, we can have what's called a house side shield on one or both sides, which will help reduce the light even less at the property lines. So especially towards the residential, I think needing the 1 foot candle at the property line with the shields, I would have a much better opportunity to meet the 1 foot candle by implementing those shields. My other suggestion would be, I could look at possibly reducing the number of lights on the sign face to 2 instead of 3, and just see what that does to the numbers. That could very well reduce my setback or my lighting to the residential, to the rear, to be at 1 foot candle or below without having the shields. I don't think it's going to help me in my front yard though. So I still will need to ask for the variance for the lighting, but it would only be for the front yard requirement.
But if the board wanted the shield, the applicant would agree to that as a condition of approval?
Yes, and I could talk with the manufacturer and see if we can implement what that shielding would do as far as lighting. So I could present that. I know we are potentially coming back for our planner, and if that information is available at the time, I could certainly present it. Great. That in a nutshell, that's generally the application and what's presented on our site plans.
Well, do you have, I have some more questions for, but have you had the opportunity to review the municipal review correspondence? I don't know if you want to, or.
Sure.
Yeah. No. Now, I believe, do you have in front of you, if we go to item board engineers review correspondence of May 15th, 2026, with respect to item 2, a title report was filed with the board, which reflects a covenant of record in deed book 1194, page 466. Is that correct? You found this restriction?
Yes, that's listed on the title report.
And you provided a copy of that to the board. Now, do you believe that restriction would have any adverse impact on this?
We don't think it has any impact on in the construction of the sign.
Okay. Now, with respect to item 9, was the traffic study conducted?
No, there was no professional traffic engineer on the subject property. I provided testimony on the use of the building and the adequacy of the proposed parking that were, if that's before you on this application.
Now, do you believe that service vehicles will be able to operate on site without adversely affecting internal traffic circulation?
Yes, they do today. They do today. There's no there's no negative impact that I'm aware of, in my discussions with the property owner, with deliveries. We even, had our driller look at the site, to see for access for getting equipment to the, back of the building. They had no issue with utilizing the existing on-site driveway.
Now, with respect to item 11, do you have a structural collapse analysis or any data identifying the potential fall radius in the event of a failure?
No, we don't have that.
In your experience appearing before municipal land use boards, have you ever been asked to provide such a study related to a billboard?
Only at this board on our prior application.
So is that something you understand to be atypical of a standard submission to the board?
I don't find it, being typical.
Are you aware of any provision in the borough's ordinance, site plan checklist, or redevelopment regulation that requires a collapse radius analysis for this application?
Not that I'm aware of.
Now, from an engineering standpoint, does the mere fact that a freestanding structure is located over a parking area automatically require a collapse radius analysis?
I'm not a structural engineer, but to my knowledge, no.
Or any other vertical structures such as light poles, freestanding signs, canopies, and utility structures commonly located near parking areas?
Absolutely.
And do you typically provide fall analysis for those?
We do not.
Now, when is this, will the billboard be required to comply with applicable building code and structural engineering standards?
Yes, it'll meet all of the New Jersey Building Code regulations, and all the UCC applicable documents will be submitted. The applicant typically does a soil boring after approval, which they will use to identify the types of soils and the type of foundation that they will utilize for the board.
And will the final foundation and structural design be reviewed during the construction permit process before the billboard can be built?
Yes, there'll be a full set of structural plans and calculations that are submitted to your building subcode official for review.
So if the board were to grant the requested approval, the applicant could not construct the billboard without the final structure design that satisfy the applicable code and permit requirements, is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, based on your review, do you see anything unusual about this proposed billboard that would require a special analysis beyond the normal structural design and permitting process?
No, this is a fairly typical setup for a billboard structure.
In your professional opinion, when designed and constructed in accordance with the applicable codes and standards, will the proposed billboard be structurally sound and safe?
It will.
And have you designed billboards built over parking lots before?
Yes.
And have they been built?
Correct,
Are
yes.
you aware of any safety concerns with those?
Not that I'm aware of.
Now, with respect to item 12, the board engineer asked whether protective measures are needed to prevent ice, snow, or debris from falling into pedestrian areas of the parking lot. From an engineering standpoint, is the proposed billboard structural comparable to a building roof, canopy, or other structure with broad horizontal surfaces where snow or ice would typically accumulate?
No, it's generally the opposite. Most of the features are vertical. There are catwalks that are associated with the technicians changing copy, but those are graded slats, very thin, where ice and snow cannot build up on. I haven't, in all of my billboard experience over the years, I haven't made any modifications to the structure for snow and ice.
Now, with respect to item 13, if approved, would the applicant provide spikes or screens or other such device to prevent roosting nesting on the billboard?
No, because I believe it's not acceptable.
So how would the applicant stop birds and from nesting on the billboard?
Sure. So we're gonna be at the site at least once per month. We could, I would suggest just writing that into the maintenance agreement, that anytime the technician is there, that they would inspect for any nests and we would have them removed accordingly.
So the applicant would agree to that as a condition of approval?
Yes, I think that's probably the most logical solution, since we cannot use spikes or netting, which I think would be, I agree that those would be problematic to the technicians who are changing copy.
Now, with respect to item 14, are there any negative visual impacts of the neighboring residential properties?
No, we oriented the signs so that they would face the traveling public of Route 4. That's who we're advertising to. The residential properties directly to the north of us, if they have the ability to see the sign, they would be seeing the backside or the V of the sign directly behind them.
And you designed the billboard specifically for that reason, right?
Correct.
Now, with respect to item 15, the board engineer asked whether a shadow study was prepared. Was one prepared for this application?
We did not prepare one, no.
From a typical engineering perspective, are shadow studies typically prepared at the site plan or variance stage for a freestanding billboard structure?
I have not done one for a billboard. I have seen architects do them for buildings of over a certain height.
Now, and this billboard would not have the same type of massing or footprint that would typically generate the need for a shadow study?
No, I don't believe so. But again, I would you know, if a shadow study is something that's required, it's something that the applicant may look into.
Okay. Now, with respect to item 16, is the proposed billboard located at least 300 feet from any billboard on the eastbound side of Route 4?
On the eastbound side, there's an existing sign that I believe is in Paramus. That's just over 300 foot linear distance on the eastbound side of Route 4. So on the opposite side of the roadway.
And is that a consideration from the NJDOT when issuing a permit?
No, it's on the opposite side. They only consider signs that are on the same side of the travel way.
And the applicant did obtain a permit for this billboard location, correct?
That's correct.
And it
So,
was submitted?
yes,
And I believe it was expiring May, but is it your understanding that the applicant has renewed the permit?
they renew them every year, so we can get you the updated run copy of the new lease for 2026 to 2027. But those distances, just so you're aware, billboards, the distances are measured on the same side of the roadway. So from static to static, 300 linear feet is the minimum. From a static to a digital, it's also 300 linear feet. But from a digital to a digital, it's 3,000 linear feet.
Now, with respect to item 19, could you briefly just describe the construction methodology for the billboard?
This was for number what?
19.
Sure. So, like I said, after approvals, we will have a soil boring conducted that will give us the makeup of the subsurface soils that the structural engineer will use to design the foundation. Typically, you'd have the monopole is a 4 or 5 foot diameter steel cylindrical column. They auger a hole in the ground. Typically for a sign that's 60 foot tall, we're probably going to be in the neighborhood of roughly 40 to 50% of its height in the ground. That hole is augered roughly a foot larger in diameter than the diameter of the monopole. And then the shaft of the monopole steel structure is then lowered into that augered hole and then is backfilled with concrete. The operation it actually goes very quickly. We just did 100-foot sign in Jersey City. We went down 49 feet. I had that one set and done in 2 days.
Now, will all the construction activities occur within the subject property, or will they need access to the right of way?
No, as I said, our driller went to the site. They can accommodate through the existing driveway.
Now, could you briefly just go through like a typical maintenance of the billboard? What would undertake when somebody maintained it?
Sure. The technicians, like I said, they go to the site at least once a month to change copy. There's typically 2 technicians that show up to the facility. they would climb the structure. It's a similar setup to a telephone pole where you have ladder rungs that are at a higher height so that an individual needs either a extension ladder or some kind of scissor lift to get to the first rung. It's usually 15 or 16 foot off the ground. And then the technicians would, of course, with safety equipment, scale the sign, get to the top of the sign, and then they would unbuckle the existing vinyl copy. It's basically a very large sheet that gets draped over the sign structure. They would fold and take that down, and then they would replicate that with the new copy and attach it in the same fashion.
And what type of vehicle would they bring onto site?
It's typically, it could be a small pickup truck. It's typically nothing larger than a pickup truck. To like a Ford 150 or smaller. You don't need a lot of equipment to get there. I think the biggest piece of equipment you need is that extension ladder.
Now, do you know how the current owner currently handles the garbage and recycling on site?
I believe they have a third-party waste hauler.
And this application would in no way affect that?
No, we have no refuse as part of the sign application. All of the copy is taken with us, recycled or reused.
Now, based on your experience designing similar billboard structures, have you experienced any structural failures of any of, and have they typically been a safety concern?
I have not.
Now, based on your engineering review, does the proposed billboard in this application present any unusual or material safety concerns?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Does the proposed billboard generate any vehicular traffic, parking demand, or operational activity associated with its use?
Other than the technicians coming to the site to change the copy, no. On occasion, let's say they had an ad that ran for an entire year, right? So a technician wasn't out there for the entire calendar year. At the very minimum, they would come out 4 times a year quarterly to inspect the structure and the ad that's on the structure. Again, the reason for that apron that's at the bottom of the sign is to display the owner of the sign and the sign number. So DOT drives around. They if there's any issues with any sign that's under their permitting guidelines, they will immediately contact the billboard owner and have that fixed immediately.
Now, from an engineering perspective, does the proposed billboard create any operational impacts on the neighboring properties or surrounding roadways?
No, everything is done on site.
Now, do you believe from an engineering and site plan perspective, does the proposed billboard create any substantial adverse impact on site circulation, parking operation, drainage, traffic safety, lighting, or neighborhood, or on the neighboring properties?
No, not to my knowledge.
In your opinion, subject to the conditions and any technical revisions required by the board and its professionals, can the site plan be finalized in substantial compliance with the applicable engineering and site plan requirements?
Yes, I think there were a couple of comments in here that we could address, I think adequately. Again, just the lighting, I don't think I would be able to meet the requirement at the front yard.
And that's to the highway side.
Yes, to the highway side. I just don't think that's achievable.
I don't have any further questions.
Okay, thank you. Turn now to our professionals. Mr. Costa?
Let's swear you in before you begin, Mr. Costa. Do you swear affirm the testimony about to give us the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Absolutely. Just, let's see, parking. Obviously the existing parking lot encroaches now, so now that's on the record. What are we doing with the existing paving that encroaches?
That's a good question. I wasn't gonna touch it. It's not on our property. I was just gonna leave it, we were gonna stripe around it and, put, parking bumpers to delineate the property line.
So we're gonna leave the plan is gonna show the encroachment and the board is gonna vote on a plan allowing the encroachment to continue. I don't think. I'll defer to the attorney, but I don't think he can do that. Secondly, if you take the car stops, the bumpers, and you move them, I think that's what your plan says. And you're modifying the parking, why wouldn't you put curbing? That's required under the ordinance. Were you seeking relief for that?
For the curbing, there's no curbing out there now, but let me just flip back to the site plan. If you look at the grading, the existing grading, it looks like that parking area sheet flows from the center out to both sides. There are no drains on the property, so if I did put up curbing, I would be channelizing the runoff.
Well, if you put curbing that's required under the ordinance, you'd have to put in drainage to manage that stormwater. So if you're improving the parking lot, restriping it, removing some of the parking spaces, are you gonna seek relief on that or?
Yes, we are seeking relief on that.
So you're gonna seek relief, okay?
What's the ordinance that requires the curbing?
It's under I believe it's under the site plan ordinance and it's under the zoning ordinance as well, but I'll verify.
But I think back to your first question about removing the asphalt, I don't think the applicant has any issue or the owner has any issue with removing that. I would just need to get permission from the DOT to go onto their property to do that demolition activity. I can certainly do that if that helps with the variance or the waiver relief for the curbing. That's fine, I can do that.
Okay.
And then I probably wouldn't need the bumper blocks there as well.
Well, again, I don't know if there's a slope there.
There is a slope there, that's.
So
fine.
I would think you
That's
have to
fine.
do some sort of a protection so a car doesn't go off the slope.
Correct. I still have the bumper blocks for the head-in parking stalls, just at the corner there. We could remove those. I can leave them. It's either way.
Okay.
it's either
And then
fine.
I think you touched on it, but maybe you can very slowly, just the traffic circulation. You said the billboard would have no effect on any traffic circulation whatsoever. Could you just demonstrate how a car would maneuver in the parking lot under the proposed parking lot?
Sure. So the sign is up above, the foundation is off beyond the limits of the asphalt edge of pavement. So the cars have full utilization of the access aisles and all the parking spaces.
So how would you do it? Because you're modifying the parking lot now, right?
With striping, yes.
Well, again, it goes back to circulation, which is obviously it goes back to the ordinance. So could you just demonstrate? Because you're saying the billboard has no impact on it, but it's the chicken and the egg. The construction of the billboard is requiring now the modification of the parking. Correct? So you're modifying the parking. You don't meet the setbacks, I'm sorry, the backup distance under the ordinance required for 90-degree parking. So how would one maneuver? If I pull in, how do I maneuver and turn around and get out?
Sure. We would, those parking stalls, would utilize that, again, the narrowest is 20.45 feet. So yes, it is substandard. What I could do is I could eliminate the compact space. It seems like it's not permitted. It's a very, undersized space. I could just stripe that entire spot, just have 5 parking spaces on site, and I could use that as a turnaround. area, so a car could use that as a K-turn. So that would be my solution if we weren't granted the, or there wasn't enough, evidence to grant the,
I don't think that's what I asked.
what did you ask?
You were questioned by your attorney. And you answered, this has absolutely no impact on traffic circulation. I believe that was one of the questions.
I believe it was into the surrounding road networks, but
I think I thought it was on site, traffic
I
circulation.
believe it was to the surrounding properties and
So
local roadways.
then can we ask the question? You're saying it has no impact on the traffic circulation on site?
So the traffic circulation on site is existing as it is today. All we're doing is restriping. They park in this fashion today.
Well, no, it's not. You're removing,
They,
a portion of it is on somebody else's property, how they utilize it. You're, right now, the proposal to build the billboard requires a modification of the parking lot that's utilized by other tenancies that are on the property. Now, your attorney just corrected me and said, when he asked you that question, he meant the circulation around on Route 4, on the side streets, on the marginal roads, so on and so forth. But how does the traffic on site? If you're saying that you didn't answer that question, that it has no impact.
I think I did. The foundation is not being located in any existing asphalt areas that are utilized by the existing parking on the site or circulation on the site. So regardless if I put the pole in the ground, the circulation on the property is the circulation on the property. I am not impacting that.
No, but you're changing it.
I am changing it because we're not, the landowner was utilizing a portion of the property that he was not allowed to use.
I understand.
So that's why I'm showing.
I understand that because I said that at the last meeting months ago, but now you're modifying the parking lot. You're modifying it. And the reason you're modifying it is because you're proposing to construct a billboard on this particular site. So now, by modifying the parking that you have existing tenancies on, you're impacting the traffic circulation on site because of your proposal. You don't meet the backup requirements. And I asked you a question. Does this proposal?
With all due respect, I answered your question. Billboard has no impact on the site circulation.
Okay, we'll go back to the same thing.
So
It does. You're incorrect. It does. Your proposal by building and proposing this structure on this particular piece of property, on a piece of property that has tenancies and an existing parking lot that you're modifying, you have to look at that in order to make sure that those tenancies and the parking requirements are met. So now you're going to remove a compact space because that's going to be your turnaround. But you go back to where the physical billboard is located, that no one's going to hit that pylon. And I agree with that, but you still have, the parking lot has to work. And again, I thought the question was different that was posed to you by your attorney, and you answered there is no impact to traffic circulation, but there is.
But again, I presented how I was gonna restrike the parking area. It has no impact, the sign has no impact on the parking area whatsoever. If I didn't have a sign here and I was required to restrike the parking area, I would do it in the same fashion. Irregardless if I had a sign and foundation. This is the most adequate parking that I can physically fit on the site itself. What I'm doing is trying to accommodate your question for turnaround, and my suggestion would be to eliminate and go to only 5 spaces.
Before you continue, I never asked you to say that I wanted you to accommodate me. What I asked you was, could you explain to the board, what I asked you was, could you explain to the board how the on-site traffic circulation works? You said, I'm going to remove the compact space. I didn't say remove the compact space. I said, just tell the board how it works. So in a minute, you looked at it and I guess does it work the way you proposed it?
The way I proposed it, I did leave additional room on the outside of those two spaces that are head in. I think those are the most problematic, and I believe that's what your letter was stating. So I did leave additional room between those parking spaces and the property lines for those cars to have a little bit more room to swing out. But I think just engineering wise, based on the utilization of the property by the two tenants, and that I could, and it's a suggestion, just to remove that compact space. It was my suggestion to help further benefit the traffic circulation, because I am asking for relief on the width of the access aisle.
Well, it's not the access aisle, it's the backup distance. Do you normally, because you also testified that you've done a lot of these, the billboards.
Yes.
And there were other questions asked as far as fall and ice and this, and you said, no, there's no issues. You have no issues. You've done, how many have you done?
Probably around 60.
60, okay. And you built them, you were the general con?
We don't, sure.
So what did you actually do? You say you designed them? You design the structures?
We had the site plans, so
No, there were quite a few questions as far as it's no problem, it's not typical, it's not this. There was a lot of questions that we could read back in the record. So what have you actually done as far as actual construction, design, structural design, implementation in the field, building this?
Well, we prepare the site plans. We stay on for construction support if there's any modifications that need to be done, but there's a structural engineer that does all the structural calculations, and then there's a driller, and there's a general contractor that sets this up. I mean, I've never testified that we build anything.
No, you testified this evening that you've been involved in a lot of these, and there were a lot of questions asked by your attorney, and you testified, this is typical, this is never done, so on and so forth.
That's correct.
Okay.
In all the approval applications that I've presented to planning and zoning boards throughout the state, that's what I'm answering.
Okay. But just for the record, for clarity, you've never designed one, you've never physically built one, you've never structurally done any of the above. Okay, understood. Mr. Chairman, I think that's it.
Okay. Mr. Depkin, any questions?
Yes, I do, Chairman. What percentage of your applications are the billboards located in a parking lot?
What percentage?
Yes.
Sorry, question, what percentage? I don't know what percentage, but generally in or close to the parking areas. That's usually where we have the most space, and we typically like to keep them as close to the roadways as possible. So it's typically in the parking areres. I don't have a number offhand, but I would say it's probably more than 50%.
Oh, okay.
I would say it's more than 50%.
And what percentage of the applications or structures are adjacent to residential properties?
That we do run into that on occasion, especially along these DOT corridors where the uses or the zones directly behind that commercial highway corridor is either a residential use or a residentially zoned property. So that I would say, again, more than 50% of the applications. It's very rare that I don't have residential zones or uses that are directly adjacent behind that commercial corridor.
And you've never done evaluations in regards to failures, structural failures, close to a residential home?
No, not it's never been required in my experience at the planning and zoning board levels. I don't recall having any of the permitted ones under construction that were asked for that, other than the structural calculations.
And in the same sense, in regards to the residential properties, shading or covering for a light, that you never did an evaluation on that?
Was this for the shadow study or for the lighting study?
I would say both.
So for the lighting, yes, we did present the lighting. We typically do show that on all our applications. The shadow study, no, I have not run into that. I've run into that when we're building a large building which has mass. The architect typically, or one of their sub-consultants, does prepare a shadow study to see how that impacts neighboring properties because of the mass of the building. Again, I don't think the applicant would have an issue if that's a condition of approval to show the shadow study. I think it would be amenable to that request.
Mhm. But I think you stated previously that you didn't think there was an issue with the shadow on a residential property?
I don't, because again, we're running with Route 4, which is east and west. So if the sun rises in the east and falls in the west, I believe my shadow would be either on the property or just into the roadway, or again, onto the property or just into the roadway. I don't believe I would have any impact north and south of the sign, and that's to the north is where the residential properties are.
Okay, that's up to the board. You also stated that you did an evaluation on the use of the structure, meaning the building.
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
Did you do a evaluation on the use of the building?
The existing building?
Yes.
Yes, I did.
Okay. So I had to, the board requested me
Mr.
to
Deputy,
do.
please raise your right hand. Mr. Deputy, if you're gonna start making statements and not just asking questions, I'm gonna have you sworn in. Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give us the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth shall be God?
I do.
All right, and just for the record, you are the zoning officer in River Edge?
Correct.
Okay, go right ahead.
The board had requested me to do an evaluation of the use in the building. I don't know whether the board was presented with the photographs that I had taken. I don't know whether the board wants me to go through my findings or whether it's appropriate time.
No, let's not do that, Mr. Depkin.
Okay. Nothing further, Chairman.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just one follow-up.
Gotta get used to this. Just a question, how would you do a follow-up on a shadow study as a condition of an approval? What would that mean? If obviously, like you said, the sun comes up in the east and then it actually travels around and then it sets in the west. So it's going to cast a shadow different times. Granted, in December 21st, when I get depressed because it's winter, and then I get very excited coming into June 21st because the days are so long, but it changes. What would happen? And if it's a condition of, what would the condition be? If it casts a shadow on the adjacent property, that you said you could do it as a condition. If it casts a shadow, do we pick up the residential house and move it, or do we not build the billboard, or what does that mean?
No, it's a good point. Look, I mean, we're coming back for planning testimony. I can talk to the applicant and see if we can get that prepared.
No, but I don't understand what it meant. It could be a condition of the approval. What did that mean?
maybe it was a poor choice of words.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Goody.
Thank you. So, sir, you said that over 50% of the billboards that you had helped plan for or construct or whatnot, they were close to parking lots. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So did those parking lots have the same non-conforming parking lots that had issues with cars backing up and proper room and whatnot?
Similar to this application. I'm trying to remember if I have any off the top of my head. I mean, I think this is a special site.
It's a unique site.
Unique in the fact that regardless of whether or not I build anything here or anything's constructed here, the on-site parking was not conforming. So I think, again.
So
regardless of-
those other parking lots, they were conforming.
I would say a majority of the other projects that
Mhm.
I've done, the properties are larger. So we're not in this same unique situation.
Okay, thank you. What do you see as the possible negative impacts on the neighboring residential property?
Sure, our planner is gonna give extensive testimony on the relief that we're seeking. And I believe that question would be better answered by that professional.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Mr. Craig.
Yeah. First, if you could, on the drawing you have up and down the site plan, can you indicate where the adjacent residential houses are in relation to the billboards? Because I guess there's kind of two sets of them, right?
Sure. So I'm back to exhibit A2. So the proposed sign is this V-shaped at the top of the property.
Yep.
This sign to the rear yard, which is to the north, is 9.37 feet. And then the adjacent residential structure that's on lot 3.02 is 11.93 feet from that shared property line.
Okay.
So roughly, round numbers, about roughly 20 feet.
Okay, so that's one, and there are other houses similarly.
Yes, if you look at the
Located.
aerial, this was exhibit A1.
Yep.
Again, we have that first home that's roughly 20 feet
Yep.
from the sign, and then you have similar size lots that are along Lakeview Street.
Okay, all right, I'll go back to the site plan. I'm looking at where that house is, and your response to the question about kind of negative impact on the visual environment for the residential was that, well, you see the back of the signs, no big deal. The back of those signs is going to be a big monopole and a bunch of structure to hold up the signage, okay? It's going to start 24 feet above the ground, roughly. Because the top of your sign's at 60 and the sign's 36, right?
Sure, so if you go, I'm just gonna flip back to the site plans to the third sheet. So the bottom part of the apron, so there's that 3-foot apron that's below it. It's 46.5 feet above the ground level.
How tall is the signage?
It's 10.5 feet.
Wide.
Wide it's 36.
Wide is 36, 10.5 feet high, and it's at 60 feet.
It's at 60 feet and it
At the
has a
top of the sign.
3-foot apron.
Okay,
below.
so that's gonna drop down to roughly.
Yeah, so from the
67 feet,
very
something like
bottom, the very bottom of the apron, which
Mhm.
is the lowest part to the ground,
Right.
is 46.5 feet.
Okay, so at 45 feet from 20 feet away, roughly, right? It's gonna be
Yes.
10 by 36. And you're gonna be looking at structural elements of this signage, and you don't think that has a negative impact on the visual environment for those houses?
Again, I think our planner will address those concerns. That's part of the planning testimony.
Okay, just, it's probably for the planner as well, but is your opinion that this site is uniquely set up for this use?
From an engineering standpoint? From strictly an engineering standpoint, we are asking for variances. But physically, I can fit a sign on the site.
Right, but would you say it's uniquely structured for this usage?
For the usage, well, with the size of the sign, we have a DOT permit for the property. That's our first requirement. That brings us before the planning municipal level. The DOT permit typically will allow a much larger sign. So we've accommodated a smaller sign base on this property based on the size constraints of the property. So our DOT permit, I don't have in front of me, but typically they allow the larger signs that are 16 by 60 per side. Because of the site constraints on this property, we felt that a 10-6-36 was the appropriate size for the property.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Gibbons.
So there's the shadow issue. And I know this isn't any scientific, but I'm looking at Google Maps and I see a shadow from the trees bordering the property and the residential property. And those trees are casting a large shadow in these people's backyards. So if we were to put a large 10 by 36 structure in a similar area as those trees, I have to imagine there's going to be a large shadow over their houses. So we can say which way the sun goes, but it's very clear that there are shadows going from the left side of your picture to the right side of your picture.
Bro, you're saying that, Mr. Gibbons, the trees that are on that.
Those trees are putting shadows on those houses.
On the houses.
Correct. Now this is just Google Maps.
Gotcha.
But it's still a picture and it's still showing shadows. So I can't see how putting a very large two-sided billboard is not going to do more shadow than that.
Okay, like I said, I'm not sure how the Google Earth projects those shadows, but I understand.
But it's an image.
I understand your concerns. I can certainly talk to the applicant. We're gonna come back. If we can prepare that for you folks as an exhibit, be happy to do that.
And you just testified that the edge of the billboard to the edge of the property, I assume you're talking about the house on Lakeview Street, is 20 feet. So from the edge of your billboard to the edge of their house is 20 feet. About
That's
accurate?
approximate. It's probably a little bit more, but let's go.
Approximate, 19 to 21 feet, whatever. The setback should be 20 feet.
Yes, for the rear yard, I agree with you. It should be 20 feet and I'm at 9.37.
Right, so we have those setbacks in place to keep structures from structures,
Understood.
to have the structures further away from each other. So now we're putting a commercial use, we're putting a large billboard next to two people that are gonna have this structure basically in their backyard. That's a big concern, plus what I think Mr. Cray said, they're looking at the back end of this. They're not looking at the advertising side of it. They're looking at the back end of this. So I can't see how this benefits property on Lakeview Street at all. And it is, I see it as a severe detriment to their property value, and them in their backyard, all they're gonna look up at is the backside of this side.
Okay, I understand your concern. I think it's a better question answered by our planner.
Okay, well, I will certainly ask it of them as well. And then what variances are we actually asking for? I know it's the setback that you just mentioned. What other variances are actually on the table
Use
here?
variance is the first.
I'm sorry, so
Use variance.
We'll certainly have the planner go through it, but from the design, we have a use variance, we have a height variance.
You have a front yard, okay, so you have the use variance, you have a height variance, you have a front yard setback variance, you have a rear yard setback variance, and then you have several variances that are associated with the parking.
Okay. So I would say that this may not be. No, I'm not gonna, okay. All right, thank you.
Mr. Sell.
I don't have any questions. Ms. Bowen.
I hate to keep going back to parking. But you did a lot, you provided a lot of testimony on the parking before anyone even brought it up. So you provided 6 spaces, but you really can't maneuver. So once we talk about maneuvering, then that it's cut down to 5.
Sure, so the way I had it laid out, I did provide some additional room with the striping on the site. I think the 2 spaces that are really the most difficult, in my opinion, are the 2 head-in spaces to the west of the property. Because when you're in this space, when you back out, that would probably be uncomfortable if someone is parked here in that compact space.
I think you'd have to back all the way out.
So that's why I left some additional room. We had some width to, I left, I believe it's 3 feet on both sides roughly for those cars to maneuver. But I just, looking at the comments in your board engineer's letter about circulation, I anticipated that it was going to be a topic that we're going to talk about, especially for these 2 parking spaces. I know that the relief I'm asking for this compact space is probably a reach. So I think my solution would be to remove that and make that an area where we could utilize as turnaround.
Okay. So it's 5 spaces versus the 7 required.
I think 5 spaces is probably a more realistic
Okay.
number.
Yeah. And some of your testimony, you say what you could do. As far as lighting, you could do shields and you could reduce the number of lights. I would say, please do, not I could, because as much as we can reduce any impact, we would want that. So I would think it would be a good idea to reduce the lights as much as you could and to provide shields.
Sure, I can certainly talk with the manufacturer about 2 light scenario that I discussed. Again, I just don't think I'm ever going to meet your 1-foot candle at that front property.
Right.
I just, regardless of how many lights I have on the structure, I don't think I'm going to meet that requirement just because of the proximity of the structure to the front property.
But as much as we can reduce the impact.
Sure, I think that's an easy ask for me to show that to you folks when I come back.
Okay. And back to the same thing, the shadow study everybody's talking about, where you said you'll try. I think it's a very important study to show us, and it would, it would play into any kind of approval. So I would think you'd almost have to come back with it, for us to seriously consider, reviewing it, the impacts.
Understood. Again, I'll talk to the applicant and we'll express your concerns for the shadow study.
And you were talking about how deep you have to go for the footing, for the pole itself. Are there any utilities impacted by that? Is there anything in the area that you have to watch out for?
We do ground penetrating radar. We have a third party go out to the site. It's actually required before they do any drilling on the site. So even before they go and do the soil test, we have to have a mark out done of the area for any utilities. So no, none are popping up right now. I'm trying to remember if I typically, as part of the survey, do a mark out already ahead of time. I can check my file and see that if we had done that prior when I come back.
Okay, I think that's it for me.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Ball. Ms. Levine?
Just a couple things. The lights, whether it's gonna be 3 or 2, they're on all night, correct?
Our application is for 24/7, yes.
Not during the day.
We will turn them off during. Correct, in the evening hours.
Right.
So I would say 6 to 6,
Okay,
roughly.
all right. That's
And
pretty much it,
Depending on the time of year, obviously,
Yeah.
in a winter, they would turn on earlier.
right?
There would be a photo cell that's associated with the lights, so.
And mainly my other thing was also the shadow study, that's
Understood,
definitely. That was it.
thank you.
Okay. You mentioned in your testimony something about bollards. Could you just identify where those bollards are intended to be located?
Sure, so, I had, on the parking lot side or on the north side of the, monopole foundation, I have 3 bollards protecting, that side of the, structure. I think Mr. Costa's letter, talked about adding additional bollards around the entirety of that. I would have no issue with that, we have done that in the past.
Given the proximity to the right of way, is DOT require any additional safety measures on top of the bollards that Mr. Costa is suggesting?
They do not.
Okay. And within the confines of your professional expertise, the positioning of the billboard and the proximity of the building from a life safety perspective, does that present any heightened risk of rendering fire safety service or fire protection services either to the building on the subject property or the adjacent property? And where I'm driving at is, can you get an aerial truck in there to provide fire protection for both properties?
Sure, so just regardless of whether or not I'm building a 60-foot double-sided billboard on the property, if God forbid, if there was a fire at this property, in my opinion, a fire truck would not enter into the property. It's just too narrow for them to do that, to risk either life or machinery in there. So they would fight the fire from one or both of the right of ways. If they had to, they could even come down the adjacent dead end that's just to the west of us. So I think regardless of what's being constructed or reconstructed on the property, your fire and aspects would remain the same.
That's all questions I had. Any further?
Just one or two follow-up, very
Mr.
quick.
Costa?
Mr. Gibbons, I too love Google Earth. So, one thing, when you, with the impacts of the adjacent residential properties, if you go on Google Earth, they actually have solar panels. So I'm not sure if that would impact it. There would be an impact further. And whether or not that would cause any grief or.
Which house specifically are
I
you?
think it's 21.
The second house up.
Is it the second one? Yeah, I can
But more
make
importantly-
out something on there.
More importantly, again, because of the setbacks and the height requests and everything. Would that impact any of the adjacent homes if they wanted to put solar? So maybe you want to look into that also.
Okay, understood.
And then I think just One follow-up, because you just testified something with a fire truck that it's too narrow to get back there. Could you just, the board's edification, what's the width of the driveway? 12 feet?
Yes, it's just over 12 foot in width.
And you know what's required for two-way circulation on a parking lot, on a driveway?
I don't have the ordinance in front of me, but I'm assuming it's wider than 12 feet.
I would think it's probably like only 4 feet.
I would agree with you.
Okay. That's it, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Not to beat a dead horse, but those solar panels are facing the direction of the subject property, which would tell me the sun is coming
Well,
in that
again,
direction.
it-
They're not on the other side of the house. They're on the house closest to the subject property, which is telling me that the sun is coming from.
We're talking about the house that's.
That
would be logical.
Two, not the, you said the closest to the subject.
All I can tell you is many years.
It's on the
ago-
side of the house closest to the subject property. It's not the house next to it. The second house,
Oh, okay.
but the solar panels, and I don't know which is east and west here, but the solar panels are on the side of the roof that is closer to the subject property, which would tell me the sun is coming from the Route 4 direction. When you look at Google Maps, you'll
They're
see what
only
I'm
on
talking
one
about.
side
Yeah.
here, it kind of looks like they're on.
They're only on one side and they're on the front of the house.
I mean, I can see it on.
Seems like a logical assumption.
That's why they put the solar panels.
You have
When
a-
you look at Google Earth, you'll see it.
You have I agree. You have a peaked roof. Looks like there's solar panels on both sides of that.
It's on the front
And on the front.
and on the
facing
side.
Lakeview.
facing Lakeview, and
Correct.
if you were looking at their house, it would be to the left of their house.
Yeah, and
So that's telling me the sun's coming from that side.
I agree that the sun obviously east to west and that roof is getting full exposure.
I would have to assume.
I would agree with you.
All right. It's 10:29. Mr. Deputy, anything further from you?
No, Chairman.
Okay.
We have to open the public hearing.
No.
We'll call them back.
We're gonna, yeah.
Get out of here.
Okay, so let's pick a night to continue the application.
Thank you.
Your next meeting.
Hold on, folks. Check your calendars. June. We already have a sign application on that night.
Okay. That's good because I have a conflict that night. What's your next meeting?
24th.
I'm available.
June 24, folks. Anybody have any?
I will not be here the 24th.
Anyone else have a issue? About 24th. Should be the 24th. Okay. Jeff, what do we have on 24th?
Nothing.
Okay.
This last week.
All right, let's knock this thing out that night. All right, so this application is going to be carried to June 24th at 7:30 PM in this room. There will be no further public notice, either published or in the mail. This is the continued public notice now. Mr. Falconstern, do we have your consent to extend the time between now and that night from the 120 days that the board has to act on this?
Yes,
All right, great. Thank you very much. And we will see you all on June 24th.
Gentlemen, thank you. At this time, we have nothing further on our agenda this evening. I will look, and I believe the public is not home for the night as well. So at this point, I will look for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Thank you, Mr.
Second.
Cody. Mr. Cray is the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstain? You're adjourned. 10:31.
Thank you.